There is a drawer built under every Japanese stovetop. Most people in the West have never seen what's inside it. A pull-out grill that hits 570 degrees in minutes. A faucet that filters, sprays, and saves water automatically. A sink cover that doubles your counter space instantly. A rice cooker that keeps food perfect for 12 hours straight. Japan didn't just build better appliances, they rebuilt the entire logic of how a kitchen should work. Every single thing in a Japanese kitchen has a reason, and most of what fills ours doesn't. Today, we're counting down 13 things Japanese kitchens have that the West is completely missing on. Stay until number 1. It's been hiding under your stovetop this whole time, and once you see it, you'll never look at your kitchen the same way again. Sliding cabinet doors. Here's something you probably do dozens of times a day without thinking. You reach for a cabinet. The door swings out. It blocks the drawer next to it. It bumps into your hip. You grab what you need, close it, and move on. That small friction adds up every single day. But here's the interesting part. Japanese cabinets don't swing at all. They slide. The door glides sideways along a track and disappears flat against the wall. No swing, no wasted clearance, no collision. You can open every cabinet at once and still have full use of your kitchen. And here's where it gets smart. A standard hinge door needs about 2 feet of empty air just to open. That's floor space your kitchen surrenders every single day. For nothing. Switching to sliding doors in a small kitchen can free up to 30% more usable space. This idea didn't come from a lab. It came from a sliding room panel design Japan has used in homes for centuries. They just moved it into the kitchen. We never questioned the hinge. Japan questioned everything. One change, 0 wasted space, fewer bruised hips. The dish rack that leaves your counter dry. You wash the dishes, you set them in the rack. The rack sits on the counter, water pools underneath. The counter stays damp. You wipe it down, it gets wet again. You've been dealing with this your whole life. And this changes everything. In Japan, the dish rack doesn't sit on the counter at all. It sits over the sink. Water drips straight down the drain, not onto your surface. The counter stays completely clear and dry. When you're done cooking, the rack rolls up flat and slides into a drawer. Some Japanese kitchens go even further. A cabinet with an open bottom sits directly above the sink. Dishes go in, drain there, and stay there permanently. The counter is never used as a drying surface, not once. These oversing drying racks are now among the top-selling kitchen items on Amazon, because once Western buyers try them, they never go back. One designer described the traditional dish rack as storing water on your best work surface. You don't need more counter space, you just need to stop draining onto the space you already have. 6 inches, that's the whole fix. The storage hidden in plain sight. Look at the gap beside your refrigerator. It's probably about 4 inches wide. You've noticed it. You've ignored it. That gap is working against you. But here's the interesting part. In Japan, that gap is a pull-out pantry tower. A slim column on wheels that slides out from between the fridge and the wall. Loaded with spices, oils, canned goods, and sauces. 20 to 30 items stored in space you weren't using at all. And it doesn't stop there. The space under the kickboards at floor level? Storage. The narrow column between 2 cabinets? Storage. Every gap in a Japanese kitchen gets measured, evaluated, and filled. It's a real design principle called dead space use, and it's built into Japanese kitchen planning from the start. Western kitchens have just as many gaps. They just sit empty. You don't have a storage problem. You have a wasted space problem. Japan just bothered to look. The bin system that changed a country. Most Western kitchens have one bin. Everything goes in together, Food scraps, plastic, glass, cardboard, mixed up, sorted later, or never. And this changes everything. Japanese kitchens have a built-in sorting station tucked behind a single cabinet door. 4 to 5 separate sections, one for food waste, one for plastic, one for glass, one for recyclables. You throw something away and it goes into the right place automatically. No sorting later. The design does the thinking for you. Now, here's what that habit produces. Japan ranked number 1 in the world for waste management in 2025, up from 7th place just 3 years earlier. Japanese households recycle 87% of the plastic they collect. Total waste across the country dropped 14% over the last decade. All of it starts inside a kitchen cabinet. The West gave people a bin and a reminder. Japan gave them a system. One cabinet, automatic behavior, the best recycling rate in the world. The faucet that actually works. Here's something you probably did earlier today. You turned on the tap, filled a pot, rinsed some vegetables. Simple enough, but the pressure was higher than needed. The temperature took a few seconds. Some water splashed out. Small waste every single time, every single day. But here's the interesting part. Japanese kitchen faucets are designed like tools. One-hand movement switches between a tight stream, a wide spray, and a filtered drinking mode. Touch or sensor control means you can turn it on and off without grabbing the handle, and even with messy hands. And the filter? It's built directly into the faucet head. No separate system, no extra installation. In Western markets, a faucet with those features costs $400 or more as a premium upgrade. In Japan, it's what every standard faucet does. Not a luxury, not an option, just the baseline. Better control, less waste, no separate filter to deal with. That's just the tap. The counter space you're ignoring. Right now, your sink sits open about 90% of the day. Not being used, just taking up space. The average kitchen sink is 12 to 20 inches wide. That's real workspace you have access to right now, without a renovation, without buying furniture, without moving anything. But wait, in Japan, the sink gets a cover. A flat board, bamboo, wood, or stainless steel slides over the basin and instantly becomes prep space. You chop there, you stage dishes there, you work right over it. When you need the sink, you move the cover in one motion. Done. A designer in Toronto tried this on a small condo kitchen with no budget for expansion. She bought a $40 bamboo sink cover. The client's usable prep space increased by a third overnight. No renovation, no demo. $40. Western kitchens leave the sink open all day like it owns the room. You already have that counter space. You're just filling it with water. The sink built for real cooking. The farmhouse sink became the most popular kitchen upgrade in the West over the last decade. Wide, shallow, white porcelain. Looks incredible in a reveal video. And this changes everything. Try fitting a large stock pot in one. The water spills before the pot is even submerged. You end up tilting it sideways, splashing everywhere, mopping the counter just to wash one dish. A beautiful sink that fights back every time you actually cook. Japanese sinks don't do that. They're built deep. 8 to 10 inches deep compared to the 6 or 7 inches in most Western farmhouse models. Large pots go in fully. Water stays where it belongs. Full stainless steel means no chipping, no staining, no cracking from hot water or acidic foods. A professional chef who moved from the UK to Tokyo said, "Washing up there was the first time in his career he just washed up. No fighting, no splashing, no mess." He went home and tore out his farmhouse sink. Western sinks got shallower because of design magazines. Japan kept them deep because of the pot. Depth beats decoration every single time. One appliance that does it all. Count the appliances on your counter right now. Microwave, toaster oven, maybe an air fryer. Each one doing one job, each one eating counter space, each one you clean separately. Now think about that. Japan replaced all of them with a single unit. A steam convection microwave combines microwave, convection oven, grill, and steam functions, all in one compact countertop box. Panasonic and Sharp have been building and refining these for decades. These units don't just reheat food. They bake bread. They roast chicken. They steam vegetables with such precise moisture control that nothing dries out. And here's something that surprises most people. Japanese apartments almost never have a built-in wall oven because this one unit handles everything an oven does, faster, in less space, on the counter. An Australian woman living in Tokyo spent 6 months searching her apartment for the separate oven. There wasn't one. A year later, she said she cooked more varied meals in that single unit than she ever had in Sydney with a full kitchen. She shipped one home. The West kept adding appliances to solve cooking problems. Japan solved the same problems with one better appliance. One unit, 4 functions. The counter finally has room to breathe. The rice cooker that never lets you down. You cook rice on the stove. You time it carefully. You sit down to eat. By the time you go back for seconds, it's dry, stuck to the bottom, already past its best. Rice is one of the most eaten foods on the planet. And in most Western homes, it's cooked inconsistently in a pot every single time. But here's the interesting part. Japan built a dedicated machine for this exact problem. A rice cooker with built-in temperature sensing that holds rice at perfect texture and warmth for up to 12 hours after cooking. Not reheated, not dried out, just right, still. Hours later. The machines sense moisture levels. They adjust heat automatically. They preserve texture from the first serving to the last. A family in Canada bought their first Japanese rice cooker and described it as the appliance that made them eat more vegetables. Because once the rice was always perfect, they started building real meals around it instead of treating it as a side thought. $150 changed the way they cooked. We improved the blender. We upgraded the coffee machine. We built smart ovens. Rice got a pot of boiling water. Japan disagreed. 12 hours later, still perfect. That's not an accident. That's 50 years of engineering. The hood that runs in silence. You turn the stove to high. You flip on the range hood, and suddenly the room fills with noise. You can't hear the TV. You can't hear the person next to you. In an open kitchen, which is how most modern homes are now built, that roar fills every room. A lot of people just switch the hood off and live with the smoke. And this changes everything. Japanese range hoods are built to run silently, even at full extraction power. The motors and airflow systems are engineered so precisely that they pull smoke and steam out of the kitchen without generating noise. Many of them don't even need a switch. They sense the heat rising from the stove and adjust their speed on their own, ramping up when the cooking gets intense, easing back when things cool down. And that's not the end of it. Built-in alerts tell you when the oil filter needs cleaning. Timers keep the hood running for a few minutes after you finish cooking to clear the last of the smoke. In Western markets, those features come as expensive smart home upgrades. In Japan, they're standard. A couple in New Zealand renovated their open-plan kitchen and installed a Japanese spec hood. Their neighbor asked if they had stopped cooking. The hood had been running at full power the entire time. Western range hoods are loud because no one demanded they be quiet. Japan demanded it. Silent, powerful, invisible. The best kitchen tool is one you forget is there. Hot water anytime instantly. Here's something millions of people do every single morning. They walk into the kitchen, they fill the kettle, they wait, they pour, they come back 15 minutes later for a second cup, and the kettle is cold. So, they boil it again. This happens 2, 3, 4 times a day in most homes across the UK, Canada, Australia, and the US. Now think about that. Japan looked at the kettle and asked one simple question. Why are we still waiting? A countertop hot water dispenser sits on the counter and stays ready all day. 4 temperature settings: 160 degrees for green tea, 175 for lighter blends, 195 for black tea, 208 for a full boil. You press one button, hot water comes out at the exact temperature you need, right now. And built-in timers let you program it to power down during the night. So, the energy use is comparable to a kettle when you count all the reboiling. A British woman who moved to Japan described giving up her kettle as the most embarrassing kitchen moment of her adult life, because she realized she had been waiting for hot water every single day for no reason at all. She sent one of these dispensers home to her parents in Manchester for Christmas. They haven't turned their kettle on since. The kettle is so deeply wired into Western kitchen life that no one thought to replace it. Japan replaced it, then moved on. Instant every cup. The right temperature every time. The kettle had a good run. The grill living under your stovetop. We've made it to number 1, and this one genuinely changes the way you see your own kitchen. Look at your stove right now. Underneath the burners, there's probably a drawer. Maybe you use it for pans, maybe for baking trays, maybe for tools you forgot you owned. It's just a drawer. But here's the interesting part. In Japan, that exact space is a fully working grill. It's built right into the stovetop. A pull-out drawer the size of a shoebox, with a heating element inside, a glass window on the front, a removable grill rack, and a drip tray underneath. It reaches 570 degrees in under 3 minutes. That's hotter than most Western home ovens running at their maximum setting. Higher-end models heat from both the top and the bottom at the same time. You place your food inside, turn a single dial, come back in 8 minutes. What comes out looks like it came from a restaurant. But wait, it's not only for fish, toast, chicken pieces, grilled vegetables, cheese melted on bread, anything that benefits from high direct heat, done faster, better, and with far less energy than preheating a full oven. A food writer visited Tokyo for the first time and pulled open that drawer expecting storage. She found a fully equipped grill. Her host had already placed a piece of fish inside and set the dial. 8 minutes later, a perfectly cooked meal. Crispy outside, tender inside. The whole process happened in a space smaller than a laptop. And here's the part that really stays with you. No Western kitchen manufacturer has ever built this as a standard feature. Not in North America, not in the UK, not in Australia. There is no equivalent built into the average Western stove anywhere. Not because the technology is hard. Japan has had it for over 50 years. But because no one in the West ever stopped to ask why a perfectly usable space was being treated as a junk drawer. Japan asked. They built a second cooking device into it, a real grill right under the burners, ready to use every single day. If these innovations change the way you look at your kitchen, please subscribe and like the channel. We are uncovering the history and design secrets that others have tried to overlook. Let's build a more efficient future together. The next treasure of discovery will be opened soon.